Self-care, goal setting and self-monitoring, tools for personal growth. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into two powerful tools that can transform how you approach personal development. We're going to look at goal setting and self-monitoring. We'll explore how to apply ABA techniques to set meaningful goals and monitor our own behavior to make lasting positive changes. Whether you're aiming to reduce stress, boost productivity, or build healthier habits, the strategies we're going to talk about can help you move from intention to action. So let's begin. First of all, let's just pause for a second and talk about ABA. What exactly is ABA? What is she talking about? ABA is the acronym for Applied Behavior Analysis. As I've said on many occasions prior to today, I'm a behavior analyst. And it basically means that I study human behavior. Then why am I talking to you about this? You're not behavior analysts, probably, although you might be. Anyway, I have found that in my practice that many of the strategies we use with our children, mostly kiddos on the autism spectrum, or kiddos with developmental disabilities or related exceptionalities, we find that the strategies that we use with our kiddos can actually apply to everyday, ordinary, typical lifestyles. And even I use a lot of the strategies that we implement in a clinical basis to my own life, and I find them hugely successful. So I thought, why not share them with you guys? So let's talk about some goal setting and self-monitoring. Why does goal setting and self-monitoring even matter? Well, first of all, goals give your efforts direction and purpose. Self-monitoring provides feedback and accountability for those efforts. So together, they increase motivation, help us to maintain focus, and also allow us to measure our progress as we go along. But why does behavior change matter? Why does it matter? Maybe it doesn't. But if you're looking for change, then it does. If you're tired of doing the same thing and getting the same results, then it matters. And I'm going to quote one of my good family friends and also a colleague, Ayana, that says and this is a well-known phrase, but the epitome of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if you're interested in changing things and changing things for the better to make a positive impact on your life, then behavior change matters to you. For example, I have a sweet tooth. As a Brit, obviously someone from England, I love pastries, I love cakes, I love stodge, comfort food. Left to my own devices, I would look like this. But I prefer to look like this. Hypothetical. To that end, I had to change and monitor my own behavior. ABA, as I said, applied behavior analysis, can provide some hugely practical tools for everyday success. Some main focus areas for behavior change and productivity include stress reduction, as I said, productivity, and building healthy habits. And I'm sure somewhere in the realm of things you can identify something that you'd like to personally work on. So how do we go about doing this? First of all, we're going to identify some specific areas of improvement or for improvement. So identify the target behavior, as we say in the clinical setting, but of course we can say it in the layman setting too. In ABA, we always begin with identifying the specific behavior that we want to change. And by change, we mean that we want to increase or decrease in some way. Start by clearly defining the behavior or area you want to improve. Choose a clear, observable behavior. And by observable, we're not talking about something that we can't see, that we can't conceptualize, something that you can see, feel, something that's tangible. Reducing stress, for example, having fewer outbursts, or finding ways to get better sleep, or improving time management. Maybe you're perpetually late. Another one is increasing productivity. What does that look like? Example, completing daily tasks, session notes to my staff, eliminating distractions. Another one is developing healthier habits. For example, drinking water, exercising more, and changing your body. You know, you may not be happy with the way things are right now. You may want to change that. But be specific. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, you may want to say, I want to drink 8 glasses of water a day, or I want to walk 10,000 steps a day. This is setting the goal. So, next, once you've set the goal, you're going to want to break down the goals with what we call a task analysis. You've identified the goal. Break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. As I said, this is called the task analysis. The task analysis in ABA requires breaking down complex behaviors into smaller, teachable, more manageable steps. For example, let's say the goal is increasing productivity, but be more specific, as I said before. So you may say, I want to finish my business plan. I want to finish that poem. I want to finish writing that book. Or I want to clean my closet, right? So, or it may be completing your session notes if you're a staff member on my staff. So, first of all, you may want to break the task down. One step may be, I'm going to turn off all phone notifications during work hours. Another one may be to work in incremental bursts, 25 minutes of focused work, 5-minute break. You may want to prioritize tasks using a to-do list. It just gives you a really nice visual structure of how you're going to go about the day. Breaking your goals into steps reduces feelings of being overwhelmed and gives you a clear roadmap of how to proceed. Another goal, for example, may be I want to exercise more. Personally, I'm not a lover of exercise. But my body wants to exercise. My body needs to exercise. My body needs to exercise to think clearly, to not gain weight, to have more stamina. My body begs me to exercise, but I don't want to. I mean, I do now because I've figured something out that is actually very enjoyable and I look forward to it. But previously, I didn't like exercising. So, the goal may be exercise more. Step number one, you may want to choose a workout time. Be consistent with it. You know, if you're kind of working out at random times of the day, the likelihood that you're going to be consistent with that is slim to none. So choose a workout time. Step number two, put on workout clothes. That helps because it puts you in the mindset. You might want to invest in some nice workout clothes. You want to look good, especially if you're a girl. It's an incentive. And like, especially if you're going to the gym. Looking nice at the gym or just kind of looking kind of cool or you got a great outfit. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Walmart have some amazing, amazing prices on their workout stuff. So look good. It's definitely an incentive. Step three, start small. Begin with like a 10-minute routine and do something likable. I like doing Weights, I like doing strength training. I don't mind that. Don't love cardio that much. But then I discovered rebounding. For those of you that don't know, rebounding is basically jumping on a mini trampoline. It gives you an amazing workout, and I'll give you more information about that as we go along. It gives you an amazing workout, and the science says that it's comparable to running a marathon, doing a mile or 2 mile walk, and yet it's less stressful on those joints, and to me, way more enjoyable. As you really get into your exercise routines, incrementally increase the duration weekly. So, with the task analysis, each step is manageable and definitely sets you up for success because it's no longer insurmountable. It doesn't look like a mountain before you that you'll never be able to climb. So, the next step is self monitor regularly. So, you've got your goal and you're working on your new routines and everything, but how's it going? How will you know how it's going? Unless you self monitor. So, self monitoring is a key ABA strategy that helps you to increase your own awareness and accountability. Tracking your own behavior helps to build self awareness, if you understand what I mean. It makes you accountable for what you do or what you do not do. It shows you what's working and what's not, and where your triggers or patterns lie. So, you're tracking. You're going to track when your interfering behaviors happen, or when the new and desirable behaviors do not happen. What triggered your interfering behaviors? What happened before those interfering behaviors? How did you respond? Talk about to yourself. Talk about how you can mitigate those triggers to find more success in your life. Um, Also, look at what happened after those interfering behaviors. How did you respond? How did other people respond to those difficult behaviors? Did you know that very often consequences can actually affect and predict and repeat behaviors in the future? Yeah, depending on how you respond, how you felt, and how others feel towards you or react towards you, can actually perpetuate those interfering behaviors. For example, as I said before, I love cream cakes. And when I eat them, I feel great and can't look forward to the next one. Eating is also a social behavior. So, very often, you are going to associate social behaviors and the feelings that you had when eating with others with that particular food. As humans, we like to repeat those feelings of exhilaration. So, subliminally, those feelings of exhilaration want to be repeated. So now you associate those positive feelings with eating that food that is really not helping. So let's look at some tools that help us to self-monitor. Journals are a great way for reflecting on your mood, productivity, or habits. Just writing a daily journal, it doesn't have to be a book or a soliloquy. It could be bullet points. It could be a sentence, a couple of sentences, or a paragraph. But journalism helps you to reflect every day. There are also habit tracking apps like Habitica, Streaks, or Notion templates, even paper charts. Just make some simple charts about your own behavior. You can use checklists, which are simple but effective, but make sure that your checklists are specific for specific tasks. Okay, my friends, is consistency. Even 2 minutes a day of tracking can provide you with valuable insights. Why does self monitoring work? Tracking behavior increases awareness, which leads to better control and improvement. Tracking behavior promotes independence. You're in control now. No one's telling you what to do. You're doing this because you want to do it. Tracking helps you to identify patterns and, again, as I said before, triggers. Tracking helps to enable data based decision making. So your decisions are not random, your decisions are based on the numbers, dates, and times that you recorded. And of course, tracking increases motivation through visible progress. Here's an example. Self-monitoring, let's say a healthy eating goal. Um, so I want to eat healthier. First of all, I got to figure out a why though. Why do I want to eat healthier? You can't just set a goal without knowing the why. If you're not sure of the why, the likelihood of you following through and being consistent again is slim to low. None. So the goal may be I want to eat healthier because I want to live longer, or because I want to lose weight, or because I want great stamina or better skin. Identify the target behaviors you'd like to change, or a few behaviors you'd like to change. Could be reduce my sugar intake. That could be difficult for some people. And you've got to break it down. You may need to swap out soda for water. And a lot of people, that's difficult for some people. And a lot of things we can't just do cold turkey. A lot of people love soda, love fizzy drinks, love the sweetness and the euphoria that you get when you have a sweet drink. Some people really do enjoy sugary, bubbly, fizzy drinks. So just to tell somebody, swap out soda for water was a little basic. What I found, and I barely drink, I really don't drink soda anymore, but I used to love soda, as kids. And we drank soda more than water. It was just a staple. So what I did, I started to use sparkling water. And then I would just add flavor to it. There are little flavor packets that you can add to them. And these, you can often get sugar-free flavoring packets. Add them to your bottled water. Um, you can also, there are also those electrolyte packets, which are really good for you, especially if you get dehydrated a lot. Then the electrolytes added to a bottle of water or sparkling water makes a really good drink and a nice replacement for a bottle of soda, and it's so much healthier. So incrementally do those swaps. Don't try to do it cold turkey. Pack healthy snacks. You might want to replace some of those potato chips with nuts. Because what you want to do, in ABA, we always try to replace interfering behaviors or habits with functional equivalents. And by functional equivalence, I mean things that will feel the same or very similar. So you've swapped out soda for sparkling, tasty beverages. Very similar to soda, but a lot healthier. Healthier snacks. I love potato chips. Guess what? I also get a similar crunch from cucumbers. So cucumbers dipped into maybe ranch or some of my homemade dressings provide me with the same level of crunch or a similar, functionally equivalent level of crunch, but it's still satisfying and a whole lot healthier. We all know this. Avoid grocery shopping when hungry. When you go grocery shopping and you feel hungry, you're going to buy all kinds of nonsense. Don't do it. Eat first, then go shopping. You're swapping out. That's all. Just making little changes that make a huge difference. You're going to track using a food journal or app, and you want to review weekly to see what triggers unhealthy choices. Let's look at some of the benefits of this approach that we're talking about. Using goal setting and self-monitoring together is hugely useful. Why? Because it leads to, like I said before, increased motivation. You almost get excited to, start tracking, especially when you start seeing results. When I started my rebounding and really got into my weights, I got excited because I started to see the transformation. The date, we have something in ABA called a permanent product. My data was the way I was transforming. My skin was looking better. I got these guns of steel. I was looking amazing. I mean, I know it sounds conceited, but I was. So I became motivated. So goal setting and self-monitoring leads to increased motivation. It leads to more realistic planning because now you know it's possible. It's not mythical anymore. It's real and it can happen. It leads to better resilience when facing setbacks. Yeah, there are going to be setbacks. I guarantee there will be setbacks, but it allows you to bounce back. You get a clear sense of progress. So your goal setting and your self-monitoring turns vague intentions into measurable outcomes. And I talk about data a lot because data is the evidence. Without data, it didn't happen basically. So make sure that you are tracking because your tracking is what gives you the results that you see visibly. And it also keeps you motivated. This next part is big. It's big in the world of ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis. Reinforce your success. What do I mean by that? Reward yourself. Treat yourself. Give yourself big attaboys for small gains. Reinforcement is central to ABA and can be used to strengthen desired behaviors. Celebrate small wins. Give yourself a reward for reaching a goal. You might want to use something like a token system. Every time you make a gain, you may have a checklist on the wall. Give yourself a star for every completed task or a check. Share your progress with someone who supports you, husband, best friend, girlfriend, colleague, someone who sees you. Share your progress with them. It'll be hugely reinforcing to see their response to you. Use reinforcement consistently to maintain motivation. This is really important, guys. I cannot tell you how important it is to reinforce, reinforce, reinforce. Let me give you a real life example of how this could work in practice. Let's say the goal is I want to reduce procrastination. Procrastination runs in my family. We inherited it as a gift from our parents and their parents, and so on. So to reduce procrastination, the task analysis may be list daily priorities. I do that with regularity. I do not begin the day without a list. It's become part of my makeup. You may want to use a timer and set a timer, for your incremental bursts of productivity. Importantly, try to work on one task at a time. And when you're working on that one task, take a 5-minute break, right? Use a checklist and a timer app. And as a reinforcer, when you've done everything you're supposed to do, maybe watch an episode of a favorite show after maybe 3 completed cycles. It's hugely reinforcing. Right now, my favorite show is Friday Night Dinner. It's a comedy, it's British, and right now I find it on YouTube, but it also comes on Amazon Prime. For me, it's important for me to laugh every day. Friday Night Dinner is hilarious. I find it hugely reinforcing when I get to watch an episode or 2 or 3 daily. It used to be Martin back in the day, but I've watched every single episode of Martin, and I know every single episode word for word, verbatim. So I moved on. So now it's Friday Night Dinner. Also, Michael McIntyre, British comedian, hugely funny. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's amazing. So just reinforce yourself, reward yourself. Feels really, really good. So let's look at some tips for success. Start small. Focus on one goal at a time. And be flexible. Adjust your steps based on what works. Look at your data. Adjust your goals based on your data. If it's not working, change it. But keep your data simple and consistent. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to do this. Scientist to do this. Some little X's and O's or some checks and some dashes is really all you need. And celebrate your progress, not perfection. Celebrate progress, not perfection. I'm going to keep on saying that. You're going to hear it in your head. Be specific about your goals. Don't forget to reinforce. Reinforce your progress weekly. Look at what's helping and what's holding you back. It works, y'all. I cannot tell you how life-changing this process can be. Achieving personal growth isn't about dramatic changes overnight. It's about making small, consistent improvements and about learning from yourself about yourself as you go. By setting clear goals and tracking your behavior, you're giving yourselves the tools to grow, adapt, and succeed. By using these ABA techniques, like task analysis and self monitoring, we, you and I, can take control of our behaviors and make meaningful, sustainable improvements. Remember, clear goals plus small steps equal big changes. Self monitoring builds awareness, as I've said multiple times in this video. Reinforcement keeps you going. ABA tools work in everyday life. You don't have to be a rocket science to use ABA. I promise you. It's not just for kiddos with autism. It's for you, it's for me, it works for everybody. Thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions. Tell me, what's one behavior that you'd like to change or improve? What goals are you currently working on? What strategies have helped you stay on track before? Share your thoughts with me. I'd also like to hear your comments, just general comments. What would you like to hear about? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed day.